You guys ever wonder what coverages here in Michigan are actually required? Before I really kind of dive into that, and I'm going to kind of go over the top coverages there, or what's actually really required, a lot of people confuse what no-fault insurance really actually is in Michigan. A lot of people kind of confuse that with, like comp or collision or a lot of different things. I've heard it multiple different ways where people are just like, oh yeah, no fault, that's what you're talking about. Or medical coverage, oh yeah, no fault, that's what it is. Well, that's actually not really the case. So no fault, really all that means is you go back to your own insurance company to get your car fixed. So if you go to like another state, most states are actually really at fault. So here in Michigan, we go with a no fault. So really all that means is, I take my car, go to my insurance company, you take your car, you go to the insurance company, and then that's where you get it fixed. Now, it depends on whether you think that's better or not. I mean, that's kind of in your opinion. I mean, I've heard both ways. Sometimes with the at-fault state, it takes a lot longer for your car to get fixed. And, with the not at fault, you're only dealing with your own insurance company, and they're going to want to keep you happy, so they want a quicker turnaround on that. Because, if you're unhappy with them, you're probably going to leave them, unless you can't find a better rate or it's just too crazy. So there's really 4 main coverages in Michigan that are really required. So the first coverage we'll talk about is personal injury protection, also known as PIP. The reason why that one's important is because it's going to cover your medical bills. In Michigan here, not a lot of your health insurance companies actually are going to cover your medical bills in a car accident. Most people kind of think they do. Oh, well, I have health insurance, it should just be there. Well, it actually is not the case. And for the longest time, it was like 5% of all health insurance actually covered a car accident in Michigan. All health insurance policies, I should say. That changed back in July last year to really start to open up some more options, and that's kind of a little different now, so you can't just give it a generalized idea anymore. So I'm not going to dive a lot into that. That's more, if you want to learn more about that, just go check our video on Michigan PIP Reform Guide. Kind of dives a lot more into it, explains a lot more, and then also we have a little PIP Reform cheat sheet just to be able to look at it real quick, figure out where you want to fall into, what the benefits are, and see if that's something you really want to go with. The second coverage we're going to talk about is personal protection insurance, or PPI. In Michigan, it's no matter who you have, you're going to have $1 million. And what that is it's just $1 million worth of coverage for property damage in Michigan. So if you decide you're going to go crazy, try doing some donuts down the road and hit the nearest building, well, you got $1 million of coverage there for you. Number 3 is your residual bodily injury limits. Part of that makes that up is going to be the bodily injury part. And we talked about that before in a previous video, which is just going to protect you if somebody wants to call up some kind of accident lawyer to sue you for a car accident. Or maybe they're claiming they got whiplash. The other part is going to be your uninsured. So that's going to be that coverage for you to make sure if somebody hits you, they don't have insurance, which last time I checked, it's been a little while, but it was like 15. I think it was like 15% of all people in Michigan don't have car insurance, and it gets a little bit higher the closer you get to Detroit there. So, making sure you have good limits on that is really going to help protect you and your family because, God forbid if something happens, you really want to make sure that you get to go back to being whole or, at least close as possible. Now, with those limits, the state minimum is $5,100, but what I recommend still is that $250, $500, and if you want to learn more about that and kind of go into more detail, we talk about that in our other video with our bodily injury limits. And then number 4 is going to be property damage. Now, your property damage is really any damage that you do that's really outside of Michigan, because when we go back to that no-fault part, other states are at fault. So if you do some damage over there, your policy really isn't set up to, cover that accident the best. So what we have is property damage on our policy, so if you do some damage to their car, that's going to come out of that property damage. Now, property damage insurance in Michigan is it's not very expensive for the most part. Depends on the company, depends on your profile, but it's actually one of the least expensive coverages on your policy. So even having $100,000 really isn't going to cost very much, and that way, if you hit some kind of brand new Mercedes or something like that for like $80,000 and it gets totaled out, you're covered for that. And then the last part, I didn't really name it part of our 4, but you'll see it on most of your policies there. Once again, kind of changes up a little bit after the law there, is your MCCA fees, which is just for like catastrophic claims and, when things get really bad. But we'll put that in another video, so make sure you subscribe. Hit the little like button, if you like the video or not. And then also hit the little bell notification, so if you are curious about any of that, you get notified when it comes up. Yeah, so if you guys want to learn any more about MCCA fees or any other coverages that we're going to talk about in the upcoming videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, so, gives you those little awesome notifications all the time. If you liked the video, please like it. If you didn't, double hit that thumbs down twice for us. And then also, we'd love to hear from you, get some feedback from you guys. I mean, this is the type of information you guys want to know. Is there any questions you guys have? Please leave some comments below, and we'll make sure we answer them as soon as we can. I will see you guys next time.